𝐁𝐄𝐏.
Welcome back everyone. Today we'll recap a 2018 Turkish horror film named Siccin 5. Before we start, it is a request to please like and comment on the video as it will help us to grow our reach. At the beginning of the movie, we see a girl named Hale following her dad. Her dad goes to an old house and Hale sees some people staring at her from the window. She also enters the house where she hears that it's not her face. The voice asks her to take the piece of mirror and cut herself, and if she does so, her father will be back. Hale picks up the mirror lying there and starts cutting her face. She starts scratching the skin of her face and only then does many women appear there, who have held a mirror in front of their face. Hale starts screaming in fear and vomits black blood, and only then does she wake up from sleep, and her mother 𝐁𝐿 gets quite shocked to see her. Next, we see Azra and Ebru. Azra works with Ebru's husband and she is dating Ebru's brother Selim for 3 months. Selim's mother had died 1 year ago, due to which he used to be very sad, but now getting better day by day. Then Azra's eyes fall on Ebru's daughter 𝐸𝐿𝐹 and she starts seeing everything blurry. Ebru brings her to her senses and asks her to go inside and take a rest, but Azra says she is fine. Just then she gets a call from Selim who reminds her that they are meeting tomorrow. Next, we see Hale talking to her doll. She says that she does not like herself. The doll tells her that she is very beautiful and everyone is jealous of her. She then says that yesterday she told her mom that she saw her dad in her dream, but she don't believe her. The doll tells her that she knows her dad and also knows where he is. She says that she will tell her if she cut her fingers. Hale says she can't do it, but she forces her to cut. Now Hale picks up a scissor from there and cuts off her fingers, but she is shocked to see them bleeding. The doll then tells her that her dad will come soon, but she can't say where he is. Hale gets frustrated by this and screams. Here 𝐁𝐿 tells her mother Nevsehir that Hale had a nightmare last night and she vomited the black blood. Here Azra is looking at Selim's photo on her phone when she hears some sound from inside. When she goes to check, she sees a cricket insect on a carpet, and suddenly Selim's ghost haunts her. Now Azra gets possessed and walks inside a room. Here she sees Hale behind her and suddenly something happens to her. Hale starts tying her with a cloth and now we see her in another realm, where a man is performing some ritual on her and there are some terrible jinns there too. Then Azra falls unconscious and Fatima comes there and brings her to her senses. She washes her face while chanting prayers. Azra thanks her and Fatima say that she was jinxed. She asks her to pray before going to bed, and tomorrow she will cure her with prayers. Now that night when Selim comes back home and he is looking at his mother's photo, suddenly he sees her photo on the floor with insects crawling on it, but it was just a vision. Here Ebru is talking to 𝐸𝐿𝐹 about Azra. Then she hears her daughter 𝐸𝐿𝐹 calling her, so she goes inside to check. 𝐸𝐿𝐹 is looking for something in her bed when suddenly the bed frame falls on her, but then she comes from behind and says that she was in the bathroom. Here Selim is sleeping when her mother says she forbids him, but he is not listening to her. He wakes up and gets terrified to see her mother, a kid crawling there. She says that his brother was born disabled, and asks him if he remembers the day he died. He was 5 years old then, and he was very happy when his brother died. She asks his dead brother to go and ask Selim why he doesn't love him. She asks him to tell him that if he marries Azra, his child will be just like him. Suddenly Selim wakes up from sleep and sees a sack lying on the floor. Here we see Azra's mother in the storeroom, where she takes out a coat and a knife from a chest. She hangs that coat on the wall, and now here we see her talking to her dead husband, and this is the same man Azra saw in her vision. She says that her son disappeared because of him, but he tells her that she interrupted and he belongs to them. She then angrily stabs him and we see a jinn here. Just then Azra hears Hale calling her and she starts looking for her. She comes out looking for her and she hears her voice from the root of a tree, saying that she wants to tell her something. And here from behind her mother silently leaves the store and goes upstairs. Here Azra finds the head of that doll and demonic Hale catches her and asks not to look back. At the back is demonic Selim who starts chanting something, and Azra's mother knocks on the door and wakes them all up. When Azra opens the door, Hale tells her that grandma went downstairs with a knife again. Nevsehir says that her father came so she went to see him. Now the next day Fatima tells Azra about the snake stones. People say these stones are found a long time ago in Mecca on holy nights. If she is jinxed, these stones will help her. She places those stones on her forehead and then starts doing some ritual using a knife and chanting some prayers. Only then does a stone break and fall. She takes those stones off her forehead and tells her there is no vow. Here in the house, Ebru and Elfie are talking. Ebru sees a scorpion on her back, but when she goes to her, there is nothing there. Here Hale tells her doll that Azra loves her very much and she only believed in her dream. But the doll tells her that Azra always lies to her. Her grandmother also doesn't love her and tells her if she burns her face, she will tell her why she doesn't. She then forces her to burn her face and tells her that her grandma is a very bad woman and she wants to kill her. She is the reason for her sickness and she is afraid of her. Only then do we see Nevsehir coming there with hot oil. The doll tells her to turn her face and she will show her something. And then Nevsehir pours that hot oil on her. Due to this, demonic Hale gets very angry and attacks her. And doll tells Hale that she already told her that her grandma wants to kill her. Now in the evening, Selim tells Azra about his dream and says that sometimes he feels that his mother still lives with him in that house. Then he gives her a ring and proposes for marriage. We then see them in the car where Azra tells him that while discussing the sale of land in the village of Karain, her brother killed her father with a knife and then just disappeared. For 12 years, nobody knows where he is. They started feeling strange things in that house, so they left the house and settled here. When her brother fled, he didn't know his wife was pregnant. Now when she comes back home, Hale asks her if they can sleep together, and Azra takes her to her room. Here Ebru hears Elfie's voice who says that Azra has locked her in a dressing table. She pierced her eyes with a needle and it's very painful. When Ebru opens the drawer, she finds her eyes there. She then says that she is in the almirah. Azra hung her there, and when she opens the almirah, she finds her dress soaked in blood and then Azra's ghost haunts her and says something in another language. Ebru screams, due to which 𝐀𝐃 wakes up and tries to calm her down. Here Selim goes to his store at night and puts all the jewelry and cash in a sack. He then goes to an unknown place and throws everything in the water. Suddenly he wakes up and feels that it was a dream. But then he sees that sack is lying there on the table. Here Azra wakes up and sees Hale chanting something. There is some strange slime on the wall in which all that jewelry is stuck. And Hale has a doll in her hand. Azra gets terrified seeing her and suddenly Hale disappears from there. Then she hears some voices from outside the room and she goes to her mother's room. There are many clothes and strange things hanging there, and her sister is sitting with some black liquid coming out of her mouth. Her mother is sitting with Selim under a white cloth and chanting something. Now as she removes the clothes, Hale comes there and attacks her. But suddenly everything disappears and her mother is sleeping in the bed. Here Hale is looking at the photo of her dad and grandfather, when she says she wishes her aunt had disappeared instead of her father. And here we see that it is a jinn who talks to her through her. Here Selim and Say go to a Hajj, who puts that sack in water and starts chanting something. After a while, she sees a jinn in the water and then a man comes there. The man then comes out and tells them that jinn has given him a name. Now Selim is sleeping at night when his mother calls his name. Suddenly his mother appears and says that his brother saw him throwing all the gold in the water, but the next moment they disappear. Then he goes to the washroom where he sees all the jewelry in the toilet and does not understand what is happening. Suddenly someone starts pulling his hand and his mother says that she told him to get away from her. Here Hale sees her family and Jinn asks her to go to them. Hale is very surprised to see them and suddenly they look at her. And her mother says that her aunt is behind her. Azra is sitting on a chair behind and suddenly her family surrounds her and brings her to another realm. Now here she reaches a chamber where she sees Azra. She walks up to her and starts caressing her head, and in real life, she is in Azra's room. Azra starts having very scary dreams in which she sees very weird things, and suddenly she wakes up. She tells Hale that she had a nightmare, and Hale asks her did she saw Grandpa. Now the next day Hale is sitting in the storeroom and drawing something on a paper. Here Nevsehir and 𝐁𝐿 are talking when suddenly Hale attacks them, which scares both of them badly. And then Hale enters the room. She shows her that paper and asks her to cut it, or she will disappear like her father. Here Ebru calls Selim but he does not pick up the phone. Azra also calls him but he doesn't even pick up her call. She then sees that Selim's given ring was damaged and suddenly a jinn attacks her, causing her to fall to the floor, and in the other realm, some strange thing comes out of her mouth and goes inside a doll. Then after a while she becomes normal. Now at night she goes to pray and starts reading prayers. Here Hale cuts off her doll's face and says that her goal is to understand that paper. Then she will get what she wants. Then someone knocks on their door, and when 𝐁𝐿 opens the door, Zahir stands there. On the other hand, Ebru comes to Selim's house and starts searching for him. She sees that Selim is lying in the bathroom in a wounded condition and he seems to be in shock. Here when Azra comes home, Her sister tells her that her brother has returned, and suddenly he closes her mouth and makes her sit on a chair. 𝐁𝐂 then picks up the injection and injects it into her neck. Azra gets kind of paralyzed and asks them why are they all doing this to her. 𝐁𝐂 says that they have suffered several years because of her family's curse. Lots of people suffered because of her father's magics. He had set evil spirits loose on innocent people he didn't know. He burned the dead and get people to drink the ash, and caused them to commit big sin, although he had a dark heart. But he loved Nevsehir very much. When Nevsehir got cancer, her father made a pact with evil spirit. If they heal him, he would give her to them and sacrifice her. They all agreed to save her brother, and some months later, the doctor told them that Nevsehir is recovered, and her father said that they have to fulfill the deal, or they will haunt them all. That night they drugged her and prepared her to sacrifice to the jinns. But before the ritual could be completed, Nevsehir stabbed her father with a knife, due to which the deal could not be completed. And when they woke up, her father's corpse was on the ground and Nevsehir was missing. Azra prays to God to save and protect her, and then she faints. Here the jinns tell Hale that if she kills her aunt then everything will be fine, and her father will always be with her. Now 𝐁𝐂 starts the ritual of sacrificing Azra, and she starts chanting a spell. Hale also comes there and she too starts chanting spells. But instead of killing Azra, Hale stabs herself and everyone gets shocked seeing this. Now this angers the jinns and they possess all the people present there, and Azra and Nevsehir start levitating in the air. Hale, Nevsehir, and 𝐁𝐂 then dies, and Nevsehir again goes missing. In the end, we see Azra praying to God for Hale, asking to forgive her. She hears Hale saying that she loves her and never to forget her, and the film closes here. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for watching.